am really excited about today because we're doing something different, but we've got a mother-daughter duo on, Jennica and Annica. Y'all, I always mess up their names. Always. You laugh all the time. So, first off, the name thing.
Yes.
Okay, so start me off with that.
Yeah, okay. So I did have her when I was 14. So let's just start off by saying, thank goodness her name's not like Rainbow Sprinklers or something, because it could have been anything.
I don't know why I thought you were maybe a little older than that.
No, I was 14. Yeah, it was the summer before I started high school. And I did want a name that started with an A, and I loved my name. But my mom actually suggested, she said, I heard the name Annica. What do you think about that? And I was like, no, Mom, that literally rhymes with my name. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. No. And I kept going because I wanted her name to be AJ. That's what I wanted to call her.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And so which also, like, it was kind of inspo from Allie and AJ, a Disney show at the end of the day. So,
a little bit of tea in there.
Isn't that crazy? Like, you're still watching Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And, you're having a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I continued to watch it because I had her watching it for so long. So, like, in college, I never watched Grey's Anatomy when everybody else was. I had to watch iCarly, which I loved. It was fun.
It was great.
So I came back to Annica and I was like, you know what? Lorelai Gilmore said it best. Men name their sons after themselves all the time. Why can't I? Why can't I?
Stop. That's amazing. Okay, so 14.
Yeah, 14.
That is crazy.
So
what do you think led to that? I just had too big of a question.
No. I was very, very, very much.
Well, obviously we know it led to it.
Yes.
But
I mean, I really was cheerleader. I was all A student. I was in all the honors classes. I was involved in everything I could in school. I was going to church 3 times a week. I was just like a parent's dream kid. Like I was really, really just a good kid, a teacher's pet all around. But I lived in a small town in the South, and so I had heavy, abstinence, purity culture,
no sex till
learning.
marriage.
Yeah, and again, I was a smart kid. I think that if I would have known a little bit more, I would have maybe made different decisions. I mean, this is what I was supposed. This is what was supposed to be my story and what was supposed to happen to me for sure. But I mean, I remember going to like True Love Waits camps and things, and just being like, ooh. Oh well, like it's fine, because my brain just at that time did not understand the difference in, oh, my mom says not to do this, but she also says not to do this, and like, oh yeah, I'll maybe get in trouble if I get caught, but yeah, the severity and like a lifelong child out of it never crossed my mind. Like it just wasn't even a possibility.
So was the first time you had sex, like when you got pregnant?
No, her dad and I were very much like the little he played all 3 sports in school. He was already in high school and I was in 8th grade. And so he was only a year older than me, but he's in a locker room with senior boys that are talking about other things, and it just trickles down, and then you get talked into things. It was definitely like consensual or anything, but that's just what I thought was obviously very quickly. I realized that this is not correct.
Yeah.
It was just a hard lesson learned fast, but
wow.
None of my friends got pregnant though. I was like, guys, we're not doing this again.
Yeah. So when you got pregnant, what was your initial reaction?
Well, that I'm not pregnant. I mean, my mom and my doctor and everybody around me there was a full baby inside, and I was like, no, I've never had sex. Mom, sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, I have 2 positive pregnancy tests, Jennica. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, because also I was in denial on my own. Like I genuinely did not think I'm doing everything right as a kid. Like I'm doing everything I should be doing. Like I'm a good kid. Like this isn't going to happen to me. And it did.
What?
Yeah.
So I guess you weren't on birth control.
No.
You didn't?
Because and I wouldn't have even approached my mom about a conversation, I don't think, because it was so.
If that age, you actually know like what.
I mean, I didn't tell my best friend.
I don't know if you know what leads to getting pregnant at that age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you talk about sex, but like, do you actually know?
No.
Like,
yeah. I didn't know what was going on down there. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I was just, I feel like going through the motions, and, it wasn't the first time. It wasn't like, we did it a lot or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have access to lots of places. We were, at the end of the day,
do you know
literally
what time
children.
it was when you got pregnant?
No, because it was so long. I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 6 months along. And so by that point, I was like, I don't even know.
6 months?
She was still doing tanning beds every week, cheerleading, twisting her body all around. Meanwhile, I'm in there like, hey, let's stop bouncing.
Yeah, I'm like, oops, sorry. So she's been doing back handsprings, we like to say, since before she was born, because I didn't know till I was 6 months. Yeah. I just had no symptoms. My body was so young and I was so athletic. And
too, you probably thought this is just your body changing.
Yeah.
This is...
My body kind of like mimicked a spotting type thing. And so I never really had heavy periods. And so nothing changed for me. I didn't gain weight.
Okay, so by the time you were 15...
I already had a kid.
You already had a kid. So
I had a kid before I had a car. Like, my first crib was an actual crib.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane. You couldn't even drive.
No, like if something happened to her, I couldn't even take her to the emergency. I did have to I got my hardship license when I was 15. But for a few months, I mean, once my mom went back to school and my mom went back to work and I went to school, like there was a few weeks that we were there by ourselves and I was like, if something happens to this baby right now, like I'd have to just call an ambulance. I can't take her anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what was that process? So obviously you had a kid. Was her dad involved at that time? Like who helped to raise?
It was a village. It's always been a village. Like
I have 100 aunts.
Yeah.
100. And they truly all are my aunts.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I say I'm a single mom, but it's not ever been just me raising her. We have,
it takes a village.
pastor. No, I'm just kidding. I used to literally, especially during like finals weeks and stuff, when colleges would have like different schedules all of a sudden, I would just drop her off at the sorority dorms and be like, who can watch her from 11:15 to 12? And then we'd get schedules for who could just sit and watch.
No.
It was so
sit and watch
fun.
movies with AJ. But she was at that age though, whereas I feel like when I was in high school, I did have my parents' help.
Yeah.
Her dad was still in the same town. We all kind of were still there. And so she did get to see everyone. She was involved with all of us. She came to all of my games. I still cheered and things. And so she was just, and my youngest brother is only 5 years older than her. So it was
like my brother.
We were just a family of 4 almost. It almost
crazy.
looks like I have one picture from Christmas cards one year where I have dark brown hair and my sister, brother, and Annica all have blonde hair. And it's like, I don't even look like part of this family. Like it looks like those 3 are siblings. Yeah.
Stop.
So she's always been really close with my siblings. My mom obviously made it possible for us to be able to live in her home and me continue school until I could move to college.
Wow.
And so it's taken all of us to raise
so
her.
how did you deal, obviously, with being in a small town? The backlash and the talk. And
it was rough.
Because you're not the only one that's had to go through this. And that's what I hope people hear when they listen to this is like, hey, I felt what you felt.
Right. I mean, I would have people come up to me. I didn't leave my house much once I started showing. Truly, the summer came in May, and I had her in the middle of June. So that last month where I was actually really showing, I left my house truly maybe once or twice. And I had a woman come up to me in Walmart and ask me if I was that homecoming queen from the paper that was pregnant. And I'm like, are you serious? You are in your 50s and you're concerned about me. I have to go home. And it was hard being in a small town, but that just fueled me to know that I couldn't raise her there. She was always going to be even when we're back there, people were staring at her like, that's Jennica's kid. It's like the kid that was.
No.
Yeah. So I just knew I wanted to
truly
get out.
Everyone knew. Think about a rumor in your high school. It's like that with the whole town. Everyone knows.
Yeah, everyone, everywhere I went. If we sat at a restaurant, and I know that it was hard on my mom because you go from...
Because then they're like, oh, she didn't raise her kid. She didn't, I
can only imagine how my mom used to probably go to our favorite restaurant, Square 40, after church with all 3 of us, and she'd be so proud of her children at this restaurant where everybody sees, and it's like now we would go to that same restaurant and... that you could just tell the tables were looking at us differently and things. So
That's
it
awful.
did not only affect me. My sister was made fun of all through high school for it. It was a trickle down. So it's just like, we just had to get out.
So when did you get out?
As soon as the day I turned 18. I turned 18 in January and I moved 45 minutes away to the town I was going to go to college in. I went ahead and moved, and then I drove 45 minutes to high school that last semester every day, and lived in Alabama at this point, and drove back to Tennessee for high school every day because I just had to get out. And then once I feel like once I got to that next chapter of life in Florence with her, I was going to be going to college, and I was there to make a better future for us. And I was went in with my kind of fist up, ready to be like, no, I am a good mom. I'm here to prove myself to all of the other parents, the teachers, my friends. And it was not like that at all. Like everybody, and since then, it's never been like that. So everybody's been so accepting, I feel like, since.
That's amazing. So what's the exact age difference between y'all?
14 years.
14 years and 6 months.
No way. So you grew up together.
I always say I've been through high school twice. I've been through college twice. I have 2 sets of friends, different ages, of everything.
Truly. I mean, she's just as close. There'll be times where I'm like, who are you on the phone with? And she's like, Maddie. And I'm like, that's my best friend. Like, what are you doing talking to her? You know?
My best friend too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, she grew up going to college parties with us. She's been to tailgates. She's been to bachelorette parties.
I've seen it all.
She's seen it all with us, and you know.
And that's the hard part, because you and I were kind of talking before we came on about like me and Chloe right now.
Yeah.
And like there's so many times where I feel guilt for like her seeing certain things and not like seeing anything, just like, you know, me being on a dating app.
They're too young to see. Yeah.
Like me being on a dating app, or me talking to a guy, or me, and like, she's there. Yeah. Like we have no choice.
I feel like it's really been a double, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's really been a double-edged sword for Annica, because she's grown up with people 15 years older than her entire life. She's been surrounded by girls. I mean, when she was 7 in college and we're talking about boys and forget him, by the time she got to high school and then her friends were having those conversations, she was like, that's what y'all are concerned about?
Like that's,
seriously? I'm like, by the time her friends start brunching, she's going to be like, I have been to so many brunches.
I'm done. I just want to lay at home.
I feel like I really have, I don't know, she has like struggled in some points with people her age, because she's just always been around.
She's grown up really fast.
Yeah.
And I think she did used to get worried about like me seeing her dating and all that, but it's so fun. Every moment of it is so fun. I don't think back of the dorm rooms.
You don't think that me dating is fun?
Yes, I did.
You want me to go on a date again?
Not now.
No. Why?
Because I know she doesn't want to.
She does. Do you think she wants to be at home with you every night? No.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
No. There
She
are
does
times
not want a
where
man.
she's like, times where she's like, I would love to have someone to share this with.
I used to date. it's so hilarious that she's.
But now we get to talk about her boyfriends.
She's
That's
met
what I was
every
getting
boyfriend
at.
I've ever had.
Yeah. So now we get to talk about him and be like, remember him when he did this.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part of it now. And looking back on all the going to the sorority houses, that's so fun. And going to the tailgates, so fun. I mean, there's not a moment of it where I'm like, that was.
And the whole time I was questioning everything I was doing. You know, I was like, this is the work. Like,
you're not having fun because as much now she looks at it, she's like, oh my God, it was so much fun. But you in the moment were like, oh my God, I'm being a terrible mother.
I mean, there was one tailgate where she's making a plate of fruit, and I'm like, oh, sweet angel, look at her having so much fun. We're all having, and I see this girl come out of nowhere and slap the plate out of her hand, and I'm like, well, now I'm gonna have to go to hurt this girl. Yeah. And she's like, I'm so sorry I did that, but that fruit has been soaking in vodka for a day. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. Thank you. No, thank you.
And so I got the other fruit.
Because I'm like, oh, I put my daughter in this situation. But it's like, this could happen at any age. Parents make mistakes at every age. It doesn't, if anything, our relationship, I've been more open, like, hey, I don't really know what the best thing for me to do is in this situation. Let me think on it a couple days, and then we'll come back and have a conversation to learn how to deal with you talking to me like you just did. Something like that. So there's been times where I've just known always not to be too proud to ask for help. Like, you know.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. I just didn't have an option. Like, I knew from day one I cannot do this by myself. And so I feel like that did give me the ability to always be like, hey, I need help with Annica, or hey, I don't know what I'm doing here.
That's what I struggle with.
Yeah.
I don't. And I think just because I get so afraid that, like, they're not going to get what I would give them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that I can't ask. And two, it's if I ask for help, then people are just going to talk shit about me behind my back that I'm not doing what I should be doing.
Oh, yeah. Teen moms can never do anything right. It does not matter. I mean, she is going to have to, like, win the Nobel Peace Prize one day for me to be like,
see, it was fine.
I did okay. Wow. You know, it's just, people are always question, and I feel like you'll probably get this, people will always question and think that you didn't make the right decision.
But it ends
Yes.
up being so much fun.
It does. I mean,
Well,
ends up being
see, it's
so
like
much
you talk
fun.
about the guys and stuff. It's funny because like Chloe and I will, because she's there.
Yeah.
So it's like if you see me talking to this person or you see me talking to this person, but then she'll just be like, "Are we done with him?"
Yeah. No, yeah.
And she'll be like,
happened?
"I
tells
think,"
me before.
yeah, she'll be like, "I think you should be with this person. Or I think you should be with that person." Or, "What are you doing?" Or, like, it's so funny. And I'm like, girl, we're figuring it out. And then we were just filming, and Chloe was talking about all these boys that she liked. And she goes, "I get it from my sister." And I'm like, "Oh,
But
no."
she should know that
Yeah.
she can kind of,
Yeah.
before she gets in a relationship,
Exactly.
see who she actually likes.
Yeah, well, I got her phone yesterday, and I saw her send like a kissy picture to someone, and I go,
Who is this?
"No,
No, no, no."
ma'am." I said, "What did I tell you? We are not texting boys on your phone. This is a no."
Yeah. Does she have Snapchat?
No.
Yeah.
I would.
We didn't do that until, which Snapchat still, when she was younger, was not as.
We didn't have a desire for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
It
didn't
wasn't
really.
big.
I used to like have to beg her to go get your phone and text me back for like
Yeah.
a while, and then of course it changes in 1 second, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish she would look at me for 1 second instead of that phone.
Literally. This episode of Unlocked is brought to you by Viator. For those of you that have not heard of Viator, your life is about to be changed. Viator has over 300,000 bookable travel experiences in over 190 countries. They offer everything from simple tours to extreme adventures and all the interesting stuff in between. Viator is the go-to place to go to book memorable travel experiences. I personally just booked a super fun experience here in Nashville, and it was a game changer. This experience was the Nashville Craft Cocktail and Fine Dining Tour. I absolutely loved it. If you know me, you know I love food. This tour was unbelievable. I mean, from the moment you arrive, you're transported to a world of luxury and sophistication, and you get to indulge in 5 one-of-a-kind cocktails, and they're each perfectly paired with delectable bites that will leave your taste buds dancing. You start off at the Hermitage Hotel, and then you end at the 21C Museum Hotel, and that hotel was amazing. The artwork is phenomenal, and the drinks, well, absolutely amazing. So I hope that you guys hop on this Viator train with me. Download the Viator app now and use code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking. One app, over 300,000 experiences you'll remember. Do more with Viator. Download the Viator app now and use code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking. Okay, so now you guys, so you have a YouTube channel.
We do.
Okay, what is it?
Jennica and Annica.
Okay, and how did that start?
Really her, honestly.
Well, I did grow up in the Jake Paul era,
Yeah.
the Team 10,
They
all
weren't
that
watching
kind
Disney
of.
Channel anymore
No, we
by
were
that, like-
watching, these vlogs came out every day. We had something to watch every day. There were a million of them. That's what we watched. We watched YouTubers. So obviously any girl of that age to be like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it. So I used to just film things on my phone, and then I feel like you were like, this
Well,
could
I
be
used to
something
always-
fun for us to do.
We watch things together. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
There's 2 people in our house all the time, so like
Yeah.
we're gonna have a shared space. And so I ended up watching. And I liked to always, like I just mentioned, watching iCarly. Like I like to watch what she's watching, not only to spend time, but doing my parent due diligence to
Yeah.
make sure that it's not, I had to shut Jake Paul off after a few years. I'm just kidding. But no, and so I was watching, and then as she says, like, I want to make a YouTube channel, it's just my marketing brain wheels start turning. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I always have wanted to be in front of a camera. I love a camera.
See, I love that.
I love a camera. No, and so I was just like, this would be fun. And in the first video, one of the first videos we ever uploaded, I was like, whether these become like home videos for us to watch back on, like,
Yeah.
it is so fun. And the first time, actually, the other day, we did something, and we have it on film from a couple years ago. And it's like, we're now getting to look back on these memories, and I'm just so thankful that we have them. But
Even from her being in college, she was always the one in the bars with the camera. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanted the picture, she was the one that had them. Like, she was always the one with the camera. So it just also made sense for us to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did a video during quarantine of telling our story and telling how she found out she was pregnant, the day that she gave birth, all that, and it just blew up.
It went
blew
mega
up.
viral. But
Really?
again, it was with her. I feel like I had such like a Gen Z insider scoop.
Yeah.
Because she found one of her favorite YouTubers at the time that YouTuber was posting little fun clips on TikTok. And TikTok's algorithm is so much better than anything else that's how Annica found this girl. And then she's watching a million videos of her, and she's now, and I'm like, well, I think we could maybe put some clips over there. And I put a 60-second clip of our video. We had 777 subscribers. And I put the clip on TikTok, and I woke up the next morning and there was like 3 million views. We already had like over 10,000 subscribers.
That's crazy.
Once YouTube's algorithm was like, why are all these people coming from this app over here? Then YouTube's algorithm picked it up, and we still get, that's one of our best videos still every month.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then people just loved us and kept following along.
Yeah.
So what do you do for your videos? Like what kind of content do you film?
We do all kinds of vlogs. People just love to see what we do together because we have such a unique relationship that whatever we do, it's funny and it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, it's kind of like a modern day Gilmore Girls. So like each maybe vlog is like an episode of the Gilmore Girls, you know? So we're just like lifestyle.
Yeah.
I have it all together. She's just following along, like the time of Lori and
I'm
Rory
like, I don't know what's going on or where we even are. And she's like, we're doing this. We
have to be there at this time, be ready at this time. We're going to leave at this time.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. So you really are like, I mean, you've grown, like I said, you've grown up together. Yeah. Like,
I think that also though, there's a very high mutual respect that I don't think a lot of parents do give their kids enough respect for, because so many people look at me and they're like, oh my God, I don't know how you did it. Like you have such a crazy story. Like you were 14, you did all this. At the end of the day, like her parents were 14 and 15 when she was born. That's tough. She's seen her parents make mistakes. She's seen her parents grow up. She's seen her parents, I really truly, so I've had to be like always just very truthful. And sometimes I'm like, she might know a little bit better here, or I try to always give her an input in our home. But she knows at the end of the day that her respect does have to be a little bit more. But I give her respect back.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I definitely think that growing up with younger parents, it has such perks and it has so many good things.
Wow.
Obviously.
Well, anytime we're talking about teen pregnancy, anything, people are like, oh, we're romanticizing teen pregnancy. It's like, you don't want my life. This is not good.
It ended up being good.
Yes.
And so I feel like I grew up seeing how people should be treated, and like especially with friend groups, I saw how her forever friends, because she found her forever friends once I could see what those meant. So I didn't have to really go through as much of finding my friends because I knew how friends should treat me. So like growing up seeing how you should be treated definitely helped how my personality
you're not romanticizing teen pregnancy, but what you're saying is you saw when a really crappy situation happened
and learned from it.
How you can make the best of it, and how you knew like really people's true colors and how they treat you versus how they don't. And I think too, what you were talking about with the respect aspect of things, I think I've seen that now with and I think part of it too is growing up in the South. In a weird, everyone has their roles. A woman, a man, a child, there's a role.
And not that my parents didn't respect me, it's just that's not what it was.
It's not what it was. It's like I'm the parent, you will respect me. And now I've definitely hit that point with my parents, is because our situation, everything that's happening, the amount of respect that I think they have for me now, it's so crazy. It is more of that like friend role of like best friends, and like I respect you, and because they've seen the crap that I've had to deal with or go through or whatever it may be.
Totally.
So it is hard though to navigate a parent friend relationship.
Very hard, because there will be some times when we're almost too, or where we've had a really good day together and then we maybe get in an argument, and so she's been a little bit too comfortable and maybe crosses some lines, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to start yelling now because we're in a it's
weird.
And so we like to pause and come back. I will say
no
more talking right now before we start saying things we regret. Let's pause and come back. Think about what we're actually mad about.
Well, I know there's been times with my dad to where I've maybe gotten a little too comfortable and I've maybe said too much about like my personal life or things, and then it switches from that friend to parent, and I'm like, oh shit, I should never have told him that. You know?
But then I never want her to feel like, oh, next time in the story I got to reel it in some. So it's like, and there's sometimes that she'll come to me and it's like, okay, I want to tell you this story really bad. You just can't get on to me for anything that happens in this story. And like, know that I never made any bad decisions and I was safe, but let me tell you about this. And I'm like,
it's usually about a year later.
Yeah,
it's usually about a year later.
Which it's so crazy though to hear, because you talk about getting pregnant at such a young age, but it's now as an adult though, like for me, I can't even fathom getting pregnant at such a young age.
I think I would be more panicked now.
But like even now, I'm like, okay, it takes a lot more to get pregnant than what people make you believe.
I know.
Like, oh, you can get pregnant the first time. Now, granted, I know people that have, but like for me, I'm thinking to myself like, I probably should have been by now. Like,
right.
It's a lot harder in certain circumstances than people believe.
I know. I mean, obviously, I hadn't even taken a biology class yet.
That's insane.
So I really had no idea how it worked.
You hadn't even taken geometry.
No, when she came out, I was like, blonde hair and blue eyes. What is going on?
She can't take biology. No biology yet.
Because, like, I mean, I was thinking, like, with someone for 4 years, I was engaged.
Yeah.
Like, there was a point in time where it was like, okay, with the amount of activity that there has been, like, how am I not by now?
Yeah. It's wild.
So it's so crazy to think that it really can happen just like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so what would you say was the biggest, now looking at your life, the toughest lesson or the toughest experience with teen pregnancy?
I'll start crying at some point for sure.
I want to say what I think it is.
Okay, you go ahead.
She had
You say from a child's perspective.
It was really hard for me to watch her when I turned 14 to see her realize what it was like for a parent to have for a parent's kid to have a kid. That's when she was like, I can't imagine you having a kid right now. And so the fact that I had a kid when it really tripped out for a really long time and really messed her up.
Wow.
I always thought that I would be like more shocked when she turned 14 and like seeing how young she was. But it's like, I didn't even think about myself at that age. I thought about my mom, like all the dreams and things that she had for me, like just being whipped out from under her. Like it was really, I'm my own individual person and this is what was supposed to happen for me. But that was my mom and I was her first daughter. And
so
you know, we went through a lot.
really took a second to think about how your mother felt.
No,
I feel like you probably had a different view of your mother at that point.
Right. And I always knew that it affected my mom differently than my sister and my dad. And everybody in my family learned from my situation. I mean, I feel like it was like life lessons for everybody involved. Yeah. But, my mom lost friends. People were mean to her at work. Like, I knew that then. But I think I didn't realize her perspective as a mom until like she was 14.
Did you ever look at her and see yourself like pregnant at that time?
No,
when she turned 14.
I remember like going to her 8th grade, like because 8th grade is when I got pregnant, and I was cheering, like in a cheerleading uniform. 5 months. I mean, I didn't know at the time. Yeah. Cheer was already done when I'd found out, but I was still like in uniform doing back handsprings, and I would be looking down and watching like the 8th grade girls then, and obviously how much the world has changed in these past 14 years. And I just wanted to be like, stand up to all the moms and be like, everybody make sure you're talking to your kids when you get like, because I think they do look so young, and a lot of parents just are like, no, that's not, my child's not doing that. And my mom was like, my child's not doing that. And I gave her no reason to think that I was doing anything else.
What advice would you give to parents?
I think the absolute most important thing to have in a relationship with your child is by far trust. Like at the end of the day, Annica knows when she makes a decision, no matter what the decision is, mom can get mad at me, but I can still tell her. I can still go to her. And I think I also made it clear with Annica, if it's something that you don't feel comfortable going to me about, these are people that you can go to and y'all never have to tell me. I know she can go to my best friend Madison that's a lawyer and just an amazing person, and they can take care of whatever needs to happen. You know, I just want her to have a person to go to, because I didn't have an adult I could go to and trust. You know, there's so many kids that don't have an adult at all, and I just never wanted that to be her. I always wanted to make sure I gave her information and, you know, told her what I thought. But at the end of the day, when you have kids, those kids aren't yours. They are yours to make into incredible human beings, but they are their own person. Like, she's not my property, you know? I'm not here to make decisions for her. I'm supposed to guide her to be the best she can be.
I love that. It's amazing. First off, I told you when y'all walked in, I was like, somewhat, is this happening right now? I was like, you are twins.
It's never been like that though. Until
I literally used to look like I came out of my dad.
Yeah,
like, it was wild.
The last year, she got her. We went to the same orthodontist. So I don't know.
He might have put some powder in there. I don't know.
Yeah, but she got the braces off, and I was like, hello, for the first time. Yeah, she's never looked like me.
So. Also, too, tell me to shut up if you want, but what would you say was the difference between a teenage girl in pregnancy and the guy, the father in pregnancy as a teenager?
Yeah, lots.
Because that's, oddly enough, I don't really think that's spoken about.
It's not, yeah. I mean, it's the responsibility is the majority of the time put on the mom, but I feel like it's that at any age. It doesn't, just because you're teen doesn't make you special.
Yeah.
But her dad's always been involved. He played sports, I played sports. We both went to the same high school, which made those first years nice because she'd be at mom's cheer games and we're also watching dad play basketball. She's there. So then once he moved to college, I also moved to college. She's always lived with me, but always seen him. We've always had different parenting plan schedules. It's always been
there's
crazy.
Been drama.
Yeah,
it's not always been perfect.
Yes, but I do feel like, I was in the principal's office one time for something, and he looked at me and said, we see that, he gets away with more than you can, but, we're sorry. And that's just the actual, principal of the school telling me this. And I'm like, well, that just set me up to know that people were going to treat him differently than me. But, at the end of the day, I did not want to be in a relationship with him, and so I knew I couldn't control anything that he wanted to. And I think that's a crazy lesson to learn at 14. Crazy. There's people that get divorced in their 40s and start messing with kids, and it's like,
yeah.
So to deal with what I was dealing with,
a parenting plan.
Yeah, dealing with a parenting plan and also homework, it was a lot, but it always fell more on me. But I didn't mind because I wanted her.
Yeah.
I didn't.
She was yours.
Yeah, I didn't. If I could have 365 days, I would. And I would never. He deserves time too, but.
Well, it's crazy. It's kind of, which I think of my mom in her early 20s when she got pregnant with Chase. Yeah. So my older brother, who's 14 months older than me. My dad had just come off a divorce. He had 2 kids. And my mom was the preacher's daughter in a small one stoplight town in South Carolina. Preacher's daughter. Everyone knew everyone. And she got pregnant and she told my dad, she was like, I am not marrying you. She was like, this is my baby. I'm going to raise my baby. If you want to be involved in his life, you can. But I'm raising my child.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, I've read parts of the book that he's working on, and it literally, I was just sobbing.
Yeah.
Just because he talks about the first time he saw my mother, how he felt, how he would just go into the bank just to be able to see her. And she wouldn't give him the time of day, And she told him, she was like, I'm not marrying you just for you to make the same mistake you made with your first wife. So it's he asked her twice and she told him no.
Work on you.
Yeah. And now look at him, 27 years later, but it's she said, a small town, your father being the
brutal.
preacher, getting pregnant out of wedlock.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And they got married May 25th. Chase was born June 1st.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
It's hard, and I'm sure she felt some of these same emotions because, there was not one day of my pregnancy where I ever got to be, proud or excited or relish in it even, or, it was just such a shameful thing that, I almost, if I was smiling, people were going to be, she's happy about this. Yeah. I know one time I showed my best friend my sonogram, and I got called into the principal's office because I can't be showing stuff like that around school. So it's just
Well, see, life, and too, I think now looking at life is too short for that.
Yeah.
For anyone going through anything similar to this, enjoy what you should enjoy.
Yeah.
Don't allow other people to completely destroy what should be beautiful. Because look at you now.
Yeah. I feel guilt sometimes for because we've had, hard custody times or this and that. And sometimes when splitting custody, there are things and situations where you're just I want that child. That's my child. I should be able to make these decisions.
Yeah.
And so growing and realizing that so many other people get to have opportunities to teach her things in life too. Like she really has such amazing people in her life because of her. She's a great person though.
No, she is. I remember the first time first off, I thought she was like 20 years old. And then they informed me, did I say something about drinking or something?
You said something, and I was like, well, Annica's 16.
Yeah, I said something, and she was like, well, Annica's 16. I was like,
16-year-olds look crazy these days.
I did not get to look like that.
I know.
This is not fair.
No, I didn't either. I was still wearing like a little cheer bow in my hair too, and it's
Literally.
like, she looks great, but no eyeliner. I was wearing, what's going on?
No, I did not get to, no, it's not fair. It's not.
I do claim 19 mentally. What I've been through, 19 is my internal state.
It's crazy though. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I will say you have done a great job. Just getting and sitting to talk to her. Like, I've never, you encounter people that you're in the same room and you're like, the room feels lighter with that person in it. That's literally how I feel when she's in the room.
Thank you.
Literally. Like, it's amazing.
That's all you can like hope for as a mom, is that your child shines rays upon other people.
I'm telling you, she's amazing.
I get like mom because sometimes she's like, what are you, stop being a real mom right now. Okay?
Like, you're being a mom. You're being a mom.
You're being a mom. Stop. Remember, we're friends.
No
we grew up
matter
together.
cool mom, not a regular mom. You're
no
being a
matter
regular
how
mom.
cool you are. And of course, you will always be a loser to a teenager.
Oh, yeah. That's like Chloe. Like, she'll look at me and she'll be like, you're not fun.
I bet she thinks that you're the most uncool person. I'm sorry, but she just does.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm like, I think I'm the coolest person you're around, but it's fine. It is fun. I also think, too, one of the big things that I fear, which I think both of you will be able to speak from different perspectives, I fear for Chloe is that she came into this world in not an ideal situation.
Yeah, right.
You know, she came into this world and she didn't get to choose. And she had a mother and father who had their own circumstances, who were not capable of taking care of her. So then my parents stepped in. And then, you know, she got so used to them raising her, and now I feel like she started off with so many negatives.
Yeah.
She used to always be worried about like what the parents were gonna think and and just making sure everything looked right and that she was doing everything good. And to me, it was just normal. Like, it didn't seem like there was all these things being thrown at me and like I had a young mom, it was such a bad thing. Like, I was like, no, it's normal. She's my mom. And it definitely was like just the person I was. If people did know who we were without knowing who we actually were, people would be like, oh, she's the daughter of the teen mom. And I'd be like, no, she's just my mom. She's just my mom. It doesn't matter when I was born, how old she was. She's just my mom, and it doesn't matter what age she would have been. She would have been my mom no matter what. And we wouldn't have gone through what we went through and had such a good relationship if it wasn't for that. So it was so many good things.
Now when people meet her, they don't meet her. I'm sure you didn't meet her and think, oh, she's definitely
got
has a teen mom.
No.
So it doesn't make any.
It doesn't build me as a person. It doesn't define who I am.
So you didn't look at, now the older you've got, you don't look at it as it was a negative.
No.
But I bet there were times where
I can't imagine what she went through, personally.
I mean, I just wanted her to have the most normal childhood that she could. I was always making sure she was involved with like little sports and T-balls and doing dance recitals and like trying to make sure. I mean, I was like, one semester couldn't buy a book for a class because we did softball instead. It was just like we always were going back and forth, and like we had to lean on each other. Like she had to help support me, and I'm now having to help support her. Like it just goes both ways.
And too, the pro of this whole situation is you're going to be a hot grandmother.
You know what? She's not. She's like,
I'm not thinking about kids anytime soon.
I better be like a 50-year-old.
No, you're 16. I think 30.
Yeah.
When you're 30, you'll
I'm
be.
still only gonna be. Well, I joke like a lot of
You'll
times.
be 45 as a grandmother.
Literally. I'm like, if one of us doesn't have another kid, like we're gonna be taking care of. What if she's 80 and her health declines first? I'm gonna be 94, still walking around taking care of her, like pushing her around.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 14 years apart. I mean, like I have friends that have siblings that are. And I see them bicker, and I'm like, yeah, we bicker like that too. But at the end of the day, I have to like put my mom.
But at the end of the day, she could be like, I'm your mom.
Yeah, I can be like, you're grounded.
She can't be like, I'm your big sis. She can be like, I'm your mom.
I'm your mom.
Yep.
Let me have your car keys.
Yeah.
That's when we start to tussle.
Yeah. But if I pay for the car, I get to take the keys.
Oh God. That's real.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next? What's next for like your YouTube channels? You personally.
I started my own YouTube channel apart from J&A almost a year ago in June. And I have since then decided that New York is my place. New York is where I fit in. I love the chaos of it. I love everything about it. And so we have to stay here legally until I'm 18, but in about a year and 20 days, we'll be in New York.
I have known forever.
And she's following me. Yeah, she's following me. She's following me.
I have known forever. I stopped dating when she was in like 5th grade-ish. No, before that.
Way before that.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be devoted to her until I only have her until she's 18, and then she can go do whatever she wants. Like, I'll be 32 when I can do whatever I want then. I think I'm just gonna move within 30 minutes of wherever she is the rest of her life.
Because like I don't want to go experience these things without her.
And
like we've done everything together. I don't want
then
to.
I'm gonna need to be there to babysit. Like I'm just gonna be 30
We
minutes.
can't separate our cats.
No, the cats have to. I have
a cat. She has a cat. They're best friends.
So we're both going to New York.
You're both going to New York. I'm so jealous because I have said I want to live in New York for a year just to say that I've done
Well,
it.
come stay with us.
Come stay with us.
Y'all, I will.
Seriously?
Have you like already picked out an area you want to be in?
Upper West Side.
Well, that's like
It's
obviously
right-
true.
well,
We know
it's-
that you can't have location, price, and square foot, like everything you want. So, but we would love to be in the Upper West Side because it's close to a park for our dog.
Yeah.
I think you guys should have 2 apartments right
next to each
door.
other,
We would.
and they have a connecting door.
Yeah, like so you have your own space because you got to get
Even
back to
down the
dating.
hall, you
Come
know.
on.
I know. I'm gonna have to in New York every now and then. We went to Coachella together, and I was like, if you see me make out with somebody this weekend, just turn the other way, girl. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of crazy. I mean, nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
I love
I had my eyes on her.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to see what's in store because you guys are so fun.
Well, let me know if you need any PTA help. Or,
Y'all,
you know.
Lord have mercy. I
She's a
will.
soccer
I got
mom.
you.
I now, after meeting you, I look at you like Harper Valley PTA. Do you know what that is?
No.
Girl,
No.
it is your life. Okay, go watch it. It's a movie that
I'm
came
in a show
out.
hole. I need something to watch.
It's like came out in like the 80s or 90s.
Okay.
The fact that I know this, it was like my favorite movie as a kid. And there's a song about it, and it talks about this mom who like the PTA always like talk shit about, and
Yeah.
she goes in because they talk about her and her like mini skirts and all this stuff, and she walks into the parent teacher association meeting, and she's got on her mini skirt, and
Yeah.
it's literally
I have like a section of clothes this big for my like
Mom
cheer mom
stuff.
clothes. Like mom clothes.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so your YouTube channel is what? So people
Jennica and
can go.
Annica.
Okay.
And then I also have mine is Annica Jane.
Yes.
Okay. I love it. I'm gonna go and like watch all of it now.
Thank you so much for
No,
having
thank
us.
you.
having us.
Thank you.